spotting it. They're going to be side by side coming down, and it's going to be Caleb Hall taking it.
Proline Cup Series. We arrive for the biannual throwback weekend, and we wonder if anything can top last season's race here when it seemed like nobody wanted to win the race on the last lap. It was Jonathan Taylor that edged out Dylan Poteet in the field-destructing last lap smash that reminded us of 2003's finish. The last driver to win on a 1.5-mile oval is Jeremy Stanley, and he looks to make it 2 wins on the season to join Brian Mercurio after he won in Texas. As it's Dylan Livingood in the production truck, Dylan Body next to me in the commentary box, I am Josh Mertz as we welcome you to live flag-to-flag coverage of the Solstice Proline Cup Series here on High Voltage Media Productions. There's a couple things as we get ready to get going here in Solstice in Darlington. Pole position, Joey Bailey, 28.721. Dylan, points leader, has not won a race yet.
No, kind of a strange scenario. We find us in similar to the, 2003 with Matt Kenseth. I don't think he won a single race, maybe one, and ended up taking the championship in the end. Kind of on that kind of pace right now.
And second place man, it's interesting that all of our little notes are lining up. Second place man in qualifying defending champion Michael Frisch. Our notes have 6 question marks next to his name. What is going on with the defending champion? He is winless so far this season.
Yeah, I feel like we keep bringing it up. It's not like he hasn't been strong. He's had some decent runs. He had some of the issues with the pit cycle and everything. That kind of cost him potentially a race or so. And then a lot of freak things happening last week. But it's definitely strange to see. We're almost halfway through the season, if I'm not mistaken, and he still hasn't found his way to victory lane yet. Definitely not something I expected.
As we talk about how Frisch kind of got burned on that pit cycle. You know who else got burned? It was last week. Chris Wetz and Cody Erdman, the Area 52 racing teammates, ended up crashed in turn 1 on coming to the white flag, and that kind of sealed Frisch's fate. And I'm surprised that those two are still teammates here in Solstice Racing. We were supposed to have Chad Mikas join us today for the Solstice Proline Cup Series on track, but the 25 team blew up in practice. There was not enough time to get that engine repaired, so Mr. Mikas will be unable to participate. And if I'm not mistaken, he had a throwback, which was a replica of Alex Bowman's car, which is throwing back to Tim Richmond, so it's a real bummer that we were unable to see car number 25 tonight. And Brian Mercurio, first race back since Valkenburg when he won.
Trying to look through, I have it written down somewhere here what the Chad's throwback was based off of. I can't remember.
Yeah, and Josh, I can't help but say, sitting here in the production truck, I'm really enjoying these paint schemes that are out here. It's really nice for our viewers to look at.
As we look through a couple of them, hopefully we can follow them along here. I know the LMT cars, Dylan Smith, Brandon Lambert, they're throwing it back to one of Toyota's former paint schemes. Michael Frisch running the Greg Biffle car again. Brian Mercurio's throwing it back to Paul Menard's, I believe it was 2003 Xfinity Series paint scheme. If I look through here, Joey Bailey, that's based off of Dave Blaney's car back in the day. Arnold Columbia, 2001 Elliott Sadler car. We have Kyle Riley replicating Sam Hornish Jr. When he ran the 77 back in 2008. As 14 cars getting ready to take part in the race today. 15, actually, I stand corrected. Joey Bailey on pole, then it's Michael Frisch. Second row of the grid is an LMT affair, Dylan Smith and Brandon Lambert. Brian Mercurio, Kyle Riley on the third row of the grid. Jake Poulin and Chris Wetz, row 4. Row 5 is Cody Erdman and Cosman. Row 6 is Jeremy Stanley and Cole DeRozier. Row 7, Arnold Columbia and Steve Rada. And by himself on the 8th row of the grid, Nick Baker. As we wind down happy hour, fastest man's Lambert at a 28.807. Mercurio 861, Smith 873. So 4 cars within a tenth of a second. Should be a good one.
Yeah, and if you find yourself looking at the number 9 and Nick Baker and saying to yourself, well, that's not a throwback. Well, I mean, it really is. It's a combination of a scheme that Baker ran in the past here, actually, a long time ago. So I don't think he made a separate wrap for the car, just since the one they already have is already a throwback.
As this is going to be an exciting race. We know that Darlington, especially from last season, I don't know if anything can top that crazy last lap last season. I'm still shaking when I think of that race, as 3 cars on the 0.8 second bracket, 2 cars 28.9s, 2 cars 29 flat, Columbia. So I mean, the whole field's within half a second, essentially. And this really is going to be a great race, as everyone finishing up their pit road runs as we start to grid against the wall, just like last season and just like Valkenburg in Solstice fashion.
To your cars.
As I look to my left here, and I noticed you popped up next to me. I was hearing you in my headset. I feel like you were trying to climb up the stairs this whole time. You got locked out.
Yeah, they got me all messed up this week, man. I had some difficulties getting up in here and getting situated, and now I'm having some monitor trouble. So if you hear me being kind of quiet, it's just we're just trying to get these dang kinks worked out, guys. Sorry. Throwback weekend. We're using some old technology, you know.
Mr. Livingood was in, I believe, Phoenix, was it, last week, as to why you weren't able to join us, but certainly Lucas Oil was a great race. I believe I might have mentioned we were supposed to run in Denver this week. Scheduling issues, we'll go over that in just a sec as we rev up the engines in South Carolina.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Settle in, relax, take a deep breath.
As against the wall, Solstice Racing will begin to grid.
All right, we got the monitor working just in time, guys.
And like I had mentioned, a little bit of a scheduling issue on Solstice's part. Darlington had everything set up for tonight's race, and then Denver said, well, we were supposed to be booked for this week, so they had to swap them, and we'll be in Denver next week. Joey Bailey and Michael Frisch, and I've said this numerous times this season, I know this for a fact, the title protagonists from last season on the front row of the grid, both winless. Let's please add that. Both winless in 2019B. CRI Superspeedway season opener, Dylan Smith, winner in 3rd. Mercurio won in Phoenix and in Valkenburg. Jeremy Stanley in car number 60, throwing it back to Mark Martin. He's back, it looks like 11th.
And I just want to take the time out to say that's a personal favorite scheme of mine all time, and I'm really happy that Jeremy and his team chose to bring that out here and put the old school Winn-Dixie colors on the number 60.
Is the Area 52 team replicating Days of Thunder. That should be a really good one. Especially, you need paint schemes like that if you're going to full throttle your way through the smoke, like a lot of these guys had to do last season. I'm going to be mentioning that a lot. This race is going to be absolutely amazing. I expect as crazy of a race as we did last season. As we begin the Throwback Week, Stage 1 ends on lap 30. We go to lap 92 to end the 7th round of the championship. We got to get it started first. Bailey and Frisch on the front row of the grid as we get ready for Throwback Weekend in Darlington.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Oh, sorry, I got caught up in the throwback aspect.
My ears are bleeding for that little moment. Into turns 1 and 2. Bailey clears Frisch. Smith on the
Dylan
inside.
Smith with a great start.
Exiting turn 2, and Smith goes to second. Side by side, Frisch with Mercurio. It's going to take me a little bit to get these throwback schemes
and
down.
Dylan Smith already to the inside, going for the lead in turn 3.
And let me tell you, I wanted to wait until later on
in the race
to bring this up, but the man who won in Munich, Germany 2 days ago certainly has the momentum, and he leads the first lap in Darlington. Bailey to the inside of car number 1 through turns 1 and 2.
Jet lag who? He just got off a plane, took a nap, and he's back out here running strong.
Bailey way to the inside. He gets
I
passed
don't know
by
what happened
Frisch.
there. Frisch, and now he's got Mercurio on the outside trying to make an attempt at him for the 3rd position. As you know.
As side by side, Poulin and Riley, Kyle Riley. I almost called him Sam Hornish, clearly. We are not doing that. 4 cars under a blanket from 2nd to 5th. Frisch, Bailey, Mercurio, and Lambert.
Yeah, like you said, this was going to be an exciting race, and surely it's not disappointing in the opening laps. Be interesting to see how the racing continues as these tires fall off a little bit. You know, lots of sand out here in the Darlington area on this track, going to wear these guys out pretty quick.
Car length lead from Dylan Smith to Joey Bailey. Bailey gets a bump from Frisch going into turn 1. And he runs to the inside. Dylan Smith ended up in the fence here last season. Somehow, after all the calamity in the final lap, I think finished 3rd. So, moral of the story is you can end up in the fence and basically almost win the race. As Frisch is in 3rd, maybe he'll peek the middle here. Not thinking about it this early.
I mean, yeah, Darlington's one of those places where, you know, you're in the wall at least once in the race, I would think, most guys. So I mean, you can definitely get something done with the car with some damage if you get the crew to work on it and get it set back up right and get comfortable in it.
Smith got a great run off for turn 2, but he couldn't do anything with it. And it's a freight train into turn 3, but Dylan Smith carries the momentum into the entry of the corner, and hopefully he can ride the momentum. High, wide, and handsome on the outside. Frisch takes the advantage on the inside there, and Bailey still leads.
It's intense racing so far to start this race. I really wasn't sure if these guys were going to go all out of it. Oh, Lambert gets a little bobble.
Lambert in the wall in the 46. No harm done, but he's going to get passed by Poulin. He looks like he's going to get passed by Erdman and Cosman. So it's going to drop him. Kyle O'Reilly slides it in the 77 up the hill into Erdman. And Erdman
oh, no! Erdman upside down in the catch fence.
And he's in the fence. And the man who finished 2nd in Germany, not having as good of a run as his compatriot.
That car's still driving? How?
He ends up somehow getting that car refired. We are under caution on lap number 6. As hopefully we can take a look and see what just happened here. Hopefully we're synced up with the director. As we enter turn 3, Kyle Riley got loose, went up the hill into Erdman. Erdman got hit by Lambert, and it just sent him into the fence. And the 52 lands back down, rolls it once, lands back down on the wheels. Heavy damage for the 52. Hopefully that Area 52 crew can get that car fixed up. Doesn't look like there's surprisingly any engine damage, but
that's a whole lot of cosmetic damage. Pieces of the body.
Gonna be a long repair. Rada stays out in the 3 to try and lead a lap, I think. That's exactly what he's going to do. Steve Rada's, I think, missed a couple races so far this season.
Yeah, but that's been the case for some of these guys here, and there's a lot of guys on the playoff bubble, and Rada's still not too terribly far outside.
As down pit lane, we'll see the crews go to work here on lap number 8 very early. Well, I'm going to focus personally on the 52 of Erdman, see if they shut the car off. As hopefully he can keep going. We know Erdman was having some car issues in practice. Luckily, they were able to get that car fired up, because I think the engine just wasn't wanting to cooperate. Bailey leads Frisch, Dylan Smith, Mercurio, and Poulin off of the pit lane. But it looks like Bailey actually gets a black flag for pit lane violation. So early on, and we saw this last week.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's another pit violation just like last week.
Interestingly, the 52 leaves. They've got everything except the roof fixed.
These guys are crazy. Can I get
some of your mechanics, please?
Yeah,
please? That's crazy.
I'm gonna hire those guys for the Daytona run that I try to make. It's, you know, just in case things go south.
As Michael Frisch looks like he's gonna lead, and Dylan Smith, after that huge start, gonna be 2nd. Mercurio, Poulin, and Cosman.
Another familiar face finally making his way back into the rotation here, Cosman. Good to see him out here again.
As, like we mentioned, Dylan Smith dominated in Munich, Germany this past Tuesday. The series continues its European tour as we head to the beautiful Barcelona, Spain circuit for the third round of the NASA Rallycross Challenge. Catch us Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on our sister network, Automotive Sports Network, as we hope the MRT squad keeps up with LMT. We know the Hondas were stupid fast in Germany with Dylan Smith and Brandon Lambert. We'll have to see if the three MRT Subarus can keep up with the LMT Hondas. As that's going to be a good race. As Frisch and Dylan Smith on the front row. Then it's going to be Mercurio and Poulin, and Cosman, Lambert, Columbia and Wetz, DeRozier, the 60 of Stanley. And then I think Bailey's lined up with Erdman, but he's hanging back, although these guys might not be lined up correctly. Erdman, Bailey, Riley, Baker. That's the running order. 15 cars. As I think we're waiting on Steve Rada, unless he has parked the car in the 3. No, transponder issues from Steve Rada. I think we're getting ready to go green again here in lap number 9 of 92 here in Darlington. Green flag. Frisch gets a great jump over Dylan Smith. Car length make it 2 over Smith and Mercurio into turn 1. Mercurio gets a great run, claws the gap back, and he runs to the outside. We know how great Mercurio is on tracks that wear tires ruthlessly, just like Valkenburg.
Yeah, this is something I mentioned earlier in practice. Is, we might want to keep an eye on tonight. He proved last time that he can really stretch
In
it.
the wall,
he's
though,
in the wall.
Mercurio in the wall. From first to last, commentator's curse.
Yeah, we got to really stop talking about these guys when they're doing well and just kind of let it be. We got a good battle for the lead up here.
Frisch and Dylan Smith up front battling for the lead. Every time I say it, if I got $1 for every time I said it, I wouldn't have to work. But Michael Frisch needs a good run. He's been strong all season. He just hasn't been able to close it. And as a defending champion, that's so hard to defend your championship, especially when you're having such bad luck.
Yeah, it's almost kind of reminiscent of, the Jimmy Johnson's, just not really having a lot of luck. He's, obviously a great driver, great team around him, but just not lining things up together at this point. So it'd be nice to see if he can get this thing, keep it up front, keep it clean till the end, and maybe finally capitalize on getting that win.
Mercurio drops to 14th. Rada is the only car off the lead lap in 15th. Dylan Smith to the inside for the lead on Frisch. He clears him into turn 1.
Oh, slide job. Just barely fits up in front of the nose of the 58.
But he runs him up the hill. Frisch to the inside.
Gonna give it right back to him going into 3.
Side by side into turn 3. Michael Frisch, Dylan Smith. What a great race that we're having. Such great respect being shown by these competitors off the corner.
Oh, these guys are putting
Dylan
on a
Smith
show.
Holds the lead on lap 14.
And this is exactly what Brandon Lambert wants to see back here in 3rd place. As you can see, if he can keep that car clean, he will slowly close that gap if these guys stay side by side.
Frisch closes him off of turn 2. What a run through the middle of the corner.
Yeah, that car really came to life.
On board with car number 1. He's getting so close to Frisch off of turn 4. He gets such a good run, but they both hit the wall. Dylan Smith to the inside of Frisch.
And as here we go back into turn 1. Smith looking to clear on the inside again and slide the car up.
The run, I hate to interrupt you, Dylan. The run that they get into the middle of the corner is immense because he closed him just like Frisch did last lap.
Yeah, they enter into the corner and everything seems okay, and then in the middle of the corner, one of the cars just comes to life and really takes off from the other one. It's interesting to see how the cars are acting on the track tonight. It's really interesting. It'll be fun to watch, especially towards the end of the race or the end of the stage. Get to really see these guys mix it up.
And the gaps that you were talking about have certainly closed up. Lambert's there. So is Bailey. So is Cosman. Top 5 under a second.
Joey Bailey gained 10 positions in the last 3 laps while we were watching this battle for the lead?
I believe so, as he started last and he's ended up 4th.
Oh my goodness, what a run. That car is definitely fast.
as Smith holds the lead. We are halfway through stage 1 here in Darlington, and I can tell you what, if they are running like this at the end of the race, it's certainly going to top last season's race. Frisch to the inside again, and he slides it up the hill. Slide job again, and here
Brandon
comes
Lambert is here.
The 2 LMT cars trying to overpower the 58. And it's just
Brandon
like
Lambert
they did in the rallycross race, and that's what they're doing as he sends his teammate into turn 3, but he can't hold the run. Frisch clears him in the middle of the corner.
Now they're going to try to go down to the bottom and make it happen again.
As inside, Dylan Smith on Michael Frisch. Lambert follows his teammate into turn 1. Thought about making it 3 wide potentially.
It's going to give just enough run to the 1. The 1's going to clear. Lambert's got the inside. Oh, they touch! 58 into the wall.
As Lambert takes second after the contact was made, and Frisch now is behind an LMT 1-2.
And he's about to fall victim to Joey Bailey in the 51.
As the championship competitors, remember Cosman was in that Final 5 last season. He was one of the favorites until he had those commitments to Miss Atlanta, and we know how Cosman's fast as well.
Yeah, he could definitely be someone that can put it together here. Just been quiet so far, make his way up here and take the lead and really show these guys what he's got.
Now, we know Solstice obviously doesn't have team orders, but if you were Lambert, would you race for yourself or would you defend your teammate?
I think at this point in the race, if I'm Lambert, not saying that I'm going to do what Lambert would do, but I think at this point I'm just going to ride where I'm at and just try to keep this 1-2 for the team, get us both some points that we need. But both been having kind of up and down seasons, not really having a lot of traction. So it'd be nice to get some momentum here going into the second half of the race.
Bailey powers by Frisch on the inside.
Oh, and Lambert dives down.
As the LMT boys, side by side, Lambert to the lead in car number 46. Dylan Smith tries to get a good run. Bailey gets close, and they are rubber banding together. I can't comprehend this. As Bailey from last, he's going to try it. He's going to go for the lead on lap 21.
This
Is
racing
he going to clear him off with 2? He does, Dylan.
This is insanity. This is like a super speedway race. I've never seen anything like this.
He restarted last on the restart, and within 10 laps, he's leading.
And here comes Cosman doing the same thing.
I'm at a loss for words with this aerodynamic package. They have to lift in the corners, and they're still passing like this.
It's throwback weekend. They got that Hemi power in the 51. He's just taking off.
As off of turn 2, Bailey has cleared him. It was 0.3 of a second from him to Cosman, and now Cosman's in 4th.
Yeah, shuffled all the way back from his second place position just a lap ago. These guys are really mixing it up here, putting on a show for the fans and the viewers at home.
Let's see what the gap is. On lap 22, it's 2.5 tenths from Bailey to Frisch, with Lambert, Cosman, and Dylan Smith. As statistician Brandon Nicholson down on pit lane, he's updating his little note on his iPhone every lap and trying to keep count of what the hell is going on with these top 5. 6th place is Jeremy Stanley, 7th is Kyle Riley, 8th is Wetz, 9th is Poulin, 10th is Columbia. They are running 29-second laps. They're on pace with the leaders.
Yeah, and guys, this is what I really love about Darlington, is it's so dependent on roll center, and we see when they get together in a big pack like that, whoever rolls the center better in that corner, you know, they usually get the run going down the back straightaway, and they can pull those huge runs. But it all changes when you get down to the next corner, because the next corner is completely different than turns 1 and 2 or 3 and 4, and you never know who's, I mean, you have to be on it that specific lap, because next lap you might be not so good in turn 1.
And Frisch has slowly but surely reeled the 51 back into his grasp here. All over him down the front straightaway. Loses a little bit in turns 1 and 2.
As it was 0.07 of a second. Frisch is there.
Oh, Frisch is around. Lambert makes contact.
And he doesn't save it. And that's going to be a lap 25. Lambert saves it. Frisch gets turned. I mean, he got turned last season and ended up pretty good. But defending champion now from 4th to last. Caution is out.
Well, you know, the way those guys were racing, it was so intense. You knew something was bound to break eventually. We were running out of laps before the stage end, but they managed to get themselves a caution in here. I'm sure we'll see everybody on pit road. And looks like we're going to have a short sprint to the end of the stage here.
Bailey, Cosman, Dylan Smith, Jeremy Stanley, Kyle Riley. The top 5 here in Darlington. As while we have a moment, hopefully I can bring up my notes quick enough to go over the point standings entering today. As we're actually going to take a look at the replay of what just happened with Michael Frisch. As let me roll this back and I'll be able to take a look. As he gets turned by Lambert, gets bumped. It's not too bad of an incident, but I think Lambert was trying to straighten him out as he turned him. It's kind of a gentleman's thing to do when you end up turning somebody. But
guys, don't mean to interrupt, but just an update. Joey Bailey has not gone down pit road in the 71 of Chris Wetz, I believe. No, it's the 77 of Kyle Riley ducked off at the last minute and also didn't go down the pit road. Interesting strategy here.
But there's only going to be, we're going to go green, hopefully on lap 28. Stage ends at lap 30. Bailey's not going to waste this time. He needs these points as the points leader, as he leads over 18 points over Poulin, as Stanley is 22 back, Wetz is 22 back, Lambert 23 back, and Frisch is 34 back. Race winners this season, Poulin, Stanley, Wetz, Dylan Smith, and Mercurio, who is outside of the playoff bubble, but won in Phoenix and in Valkenburg. As I'm looking at the points here, we are missing Dylan Poteet and Corey Spencer from the top 16, but I think Spencer only ran at CRI Super Speedway. Not sure what's going on with Poteet's campaign here, but he's been very spotty for making some races.
Yeah, I think the original plan was for him to actually make it here. I know he had contacted us to design a wrap for the car to run in a different series, and had plans to bring the car here. I don't know if maybe there was some sort of technical issue on the way, maybe, or something, but unfortunate to not see him out here. They had a really nice car designed up.
Well, and Josh, do you think the numbered game might have anything to do with it? He did switch numbers for this season, and as we know from NASA Rallycross, sometimes when he's switched numbers, it's a different mentality.
I can bring up when you switched from 51 to 21 back in 2017A. You had a pretty rough season, and then you switched right back. So that's definitely, like, it's a psyche thing. You switch numbers, and you're like, who am I? It's a different identity.
Absolutely.
As real quick, going back green, 3 to go in stage 1.
Oh, Kyle Riley spins the tires and makes contact with the wall.
Out. As Riley spun his tires, Stanley's the first guy on fresh tires. He's going to be Superman on this restart, and he goes to the outside, passing Riley. Kyle Riley dropping like a rock, pulling to the inside of Stanley. As Erdman spins
hard into the inside
in the
wall.
52, caution is out. We're going to not race back. Field is frozen. I think that's the end of the stage. And Bailey's strategy worked.
There you go. It paid off. I really was thinking he was going to get swallowed up or get caught up in some sort of calamity having old tires on a place like this, but got lucky, got the early caution. Going to get himself some stage points.
As Erdman has retired the car in car number 52. Not a good day for the man from Wisconsin.
That impact definitely looked like it did the engine damage that the first crash hadn't. Definitely finished the car off.
Oh, as I'm taking a look on my monitor, hopefully, like I said, Mr. Livingood, the production truck director, keeps up. DeRozier got tagged by the 58 of Frisch. Erdman hit him, and it just sent him into the wall. Like, he had a trajectory into the wall. No way to save that. As Erdman, our first retirement here today. As Joey Bailey played some strategy, he's going to the stage end, technically, at the yellow flag. But he stays out. Bailey, Stanley, Poulin, Riley, Wetz staying out. Dylan Smith, Cosman, and Arnold Columbia. As, not sure if we're having some difficulties here tonight. We're getting some reports that we aren't live. Hopefully we can fix that up for everybody here. But hopefully we'd be able to fix that up. Leading off a pit lane is Stanley in the 60, but he's going to be 4th in the running order. As while we try and fix our issues here, unless we are going green, hopefully we throw
Josh, this
Throw
must
it
be
out
some
there.
weird, bizarre issue that we have going on here, because everything down in the production booth says that we got the green light ready to go, and that we're broadcasting right now, and we have been for the last half hour.
As Columbia looks like he's going to lead on the restart from Stanley, Bailey, and Riley. The only reason why I bring it up is getting some reports that stuff's not working. So maybe on a next caution we'll be able to identify that.
And if nothing else, if this happens to not be live, then you viewers can catch this later on HVMP, or youtube.com/HVMP01.
Yeah, it's not popping up.
Yeah, I got nothing. Well,
Speaking as, I'm probably gonna cut this out later. Fuck the fucking YouTube beta shit.
yep.
This is garbage. I don't know why the fuck they ever changed this around on us, and I don't know why they did it like mid-season either.
Take your time. We did this last week.
That's alright, we'll just get it working. I can always upload it in full with this part edited out later. Stream the last part live, upload the full race. It's okay.
Hopefully someone somewhere is watching this live right now, because
It's not. Oh,
shit, they just wrecked it bad down the
Rada
back
and
stretch.
Kyle Riley. I don't know why. It's not live though. Rada sent me a screenshot that it wasn't live.
Yeah, I got a screenshot and there's nothing
I know
coming
it's
up
not even live on
that
my end
front.
either, but I don't know where we're encoding to.
We have one that says streamed 30 minutes ago, but it's done. Now it says waiting for HVMP 01.
What's your team viewer?
Oh, live stream now. Okay, let's try that one. Hey, and there's our old stream key.
Oh. Does YouTube hate us?
This is what, like the 5th time they've douched us over?
Yeah.
Seems like it's happening more and more. More and more.
Well, and they're like, oh yeah, you can use the classic Creator Studio if you want to.
Who joined our channel?
Cody.
I did.
Oh.
Well, hello there.
What's
Cody.
up?
Hi. No broadcast tonight?
We're fixing it.
Technically, you're part of a broadcast right now, but it's
Oh, like
Yeah, would you like to
not
join us for
broadcast
the actual
because-
live segment?
yeah. We'll go live here in a few.
Yeah, if you want to stick around and hang out, feel free. We can talk
Yeah.
about how you survived that crazy crash.
No, I'm good.
Why'd you park it? Was the car dead?
It's not that it was dead. It was just very, very wounded. And then after that second caution, I was involved, and I'm like, yeah, no, tonight's just not my night. Fuck it. I'm gonna do some iRacing anyways. Try to get my high rating up a little bit on road.
All right.
God, I want to smoke like a million cigarettes at once right now.
Dude, I feel. Actually, babe, let me have my vape real quick.
Fuck you.
I got Pink Punch Lemonade. It's so damn good.
Why is this bitch?
All you have to do is plug the stream key into OBS.
Well, you guys have fun.
I know, but it keeps trying to redirect me to, like...
What's your team viewer on? Fix it. I
Hold
fixed
on.
it last week.
Hold on. File... Settings...
Also, Dylan, I'm glad you got back from Phoenix before you got struck by lightning.
I know, right? That was fucking nuts.
It's wild.
Alright, we're gonna end this one, so stop streaming.